I've got some good friends on the grid for sure, but I still, don't catch up with them, massively away from the track. It's going to be interesting post-career if we see each other more than we do when we're actually racing, because it's actually still quite hard to, get super close when you're competing against each other.
It just looks such a glitzy world.
There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, I guess. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, mate, unfortunately. Behind the scenes, it's not always like that.
No.
So, they do a good job on TV to make it look better than it is, but it's good, don't get me wrong. It's a very, the cars are very quick. It's a super professional sport. It's well put together. It is well put together, but it's, this on TV, same thing. We're looking out here over the pitch, and you see it on TV. It looks absolutely, phenomenal. But here, and it looks good here, but you can still, there's still a few warts here and there, which is the same with Formula One. That's how it is.
Is it? Even so Monte Carlo, I mean, the whole sort of business of going to see a Grand Prix there.
Yeah.
I'd be the charity dues here, where they go to an auction there, and people bid thousands of pounds to go and see that.
Yeah, it is I'm probably going to be a bit biased. It is a phenomenal sporting event, the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. I'm not big into people watching, mate, all that sort of stuff. I've got to be careful what I say, but that's I can take and leave that stuff. Don't get me wrong, but to have a Formula One race where they do at Monaco it is special to see the guys, through the streets of Monaco, the noise. You've got the water, you've got the dramatic cliffs behind. It's pretty spectacular, and obviously the weather's normally pretty good. So. I wouldn't pay that sort of dough to go and watch it, but some people love to go and see it, and that's what they do. Yeah. So it's a good event. It's a good event. Yeah.
Is it a clean sport?
Mate, always when you have that amount of money involved, there's going to be politics, and it's been like that for a long, long time. It'll be like that in the future, where you have agendas, stuff going on behind the scenes, which not tarnish the sport, but there's certain things which come up every now and again that might be a little bit unsavoury, and that's the way it is. It's not a small little sport, mate. It's a there's a huge amount of money goes either way, and so at times there will be things that might not be that enjoyable.
Yeah. And everyone, the drivers are all straight, as it were. You've seen this business in cricket, as we know. What sort of checks are made, tests are made on all of you when you're competing?
Yeah, well, I think driver-wise is pretty straightforward. You can't. You
couldn't throw a race.
Well, no, you could. You could. Any sportsman, at the end of the day, we've seen it with rugby league, we've seen it with cricket, we've seen, with AFL in Australia, some guys having a little bit of a flutter. So, absolutely, completely unaware of it going on in our game or in our sport. I think there's just not enough races as well, I don't think. When you've got so many matches or, small little things going on, I suppose the temptation is higher maybe for these guys to have a bit of a crack, or the result is going to be pretty much like that anyway, or there's so many things that you can bet on. But in our sport, I think it's very hard. Well, you could say, I want to crash at the first corner and go and put some money on that, and you can go down and do that. But it's not, there's just too many risks involved to do things like that. It's not, the comparison to other sports is quite different, I think, in that respect. So, and technically, the cars, obviously, that's a big aspect which you've got to stay on top of. Obviously, people could cheat with the cars, so the governing body's got to be over that like an absolute rash to make sure that that's all fair and played for. So, and that's where most of the politics come into play, where you've got the rules and the ambiguity of how the rules are read and teams' interpretation, that sort of stuff, and you've got to be careful with making sure the right people are happy with what's doing what, and that's where the sport can get difficult sometimes. Yeah,
and not naming names, but are there drivers, because there must be huge pressure if you're behind and you've got to win a race? Is that a danger for you as well? There's someone out there who just doesn't handle that pressure very well, takes a chance, takes a risk. Someone overtakes when they shouldn't do, knocks you out. All that sort of side of it. Other sort of hot-headed ones.
Yes, there's always an element of that going to take place, mate. But the cars are. I'm in control of most of the things that I do with my car. I can't control at all what he's going to do. If they do something absolutely ridiculous and stupid, then that's going to happen. But pretty unlikely at that level. Yeah. Pretty unlikely. Most of the, we're not racing, at the local, and I'm not, having a crack at your question. I'm just saying we're not racing at the go-kart, where we got that that's the worst thing for us. If I go and do a little go-kart race or whatever, you got a big target on your back, and guys trying to do these desperate moves and carry on and take your head off. You're like, well, settle down, guys. So when you're doing a Formula One race, everyone's, it's generally pretty professional from top to finish in terms of that situation of passing moves and things like that. And they've got their own race they want to finish as well.
Yeah. Jeffrey's here. He said it was like watching Sky Electric earlier on.
Sky Electric, yeah. Well,
what do you reckon? Put him right.
We'll have to take him for a lap then. Yeah, hey Jeffrey, how are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Listen, how can you interview him? Yeah. You put the wrong petrol in your car.
No, thank you, Jeffrey. I thought you'd bring that up.
You know nothing about that.
Go away. One lap would be enough with him in the same car as you, I can tell you. I can tell you, Mark. Yeah. Since Jeffrey expressed an interest, yes, would you like to ask him to drive him around in the Red Bull? There you go. There's a twin-seater, is there? You could take him around. Are you as competitive playing other sports? Says Simon on the Twitter.
Yes.
It's a fiercely competitive. You have to be to get to where you are, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, it's in the DNA, isn't it? So, yes, I am.
Right, because at the moment you're second
in the World Championship.
Yeah. Is there any physical way you could get up there now?
Physical, we'll probably knock Seb out. We've got to try and. But no, I think he's had a great start to the season, and now it's tightened right up. All four of us are getting similar results. So McLaren and Ferrari are performing very well. So second part of the championship is going to be. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, get some victories under my belt, and Seb, it's probably his to lose. He knows that he's got a good lead, and but in sport, as you know, mate, anything can happen. So you got to keep boxing.
Yeah. How does that relationship work? I mean, you're very competitive together. Again, are you mates together?
It's the toughest relationship you can probably have, because you're supposed to be teammates and you're in the same team. All the guys and girls are working together for you two. But he's the one that you want to probably beat the most. And,
is he?
So it's
to prove your point in a way.
Yeah, in the team. So the rivalry's always been quite high between teammates and legendary, and we've always had interesting battles between teammates on the grid in Formula One. So that will always be the same, mate.
Yeah. Hey, it's great to talk to you. I've
Thanks,
really enjoyed it, Mark.
Yeah,
Thank you.
On you.
Fascinating. And I'll be watching.
Yes, well,
this
watch
weekend.
the Belgian Grand Prix, mate. Watch it and see what you think of it. And I see the DRS on your.
We've got DRS here. You have DRS.
We've got DRS too, mate. Completely different.
You've got a button that says DRS. What happens? Sort of flaps open or something.
You've hit the nail on the head, mate. Yeah, rear wing opens up, and so it's amazing. We've got DRS in cricket and DRS in F1. There you go. Two different meanings.
Is yours as controversial as ours, though? I suppose not.
No, nowhere near as controversial as yours, mate. The Duckworth.
Well, make sure it works on the weekend.
I will.
Hey?
Thanks,
make sure it's well oiled.
Yes.
Whatever it has to do.
Good on you. Thanks very much.
Mark, lovely. Thanks for coming in. 2:18 for 6. Dravid 109. Mishra on 38. They're all out in the middle again. Lunchtime flies as it always does when you have somebody interesting in here, as we most certainly have there. Hope you all enjoyed that.